What's going on, y'all? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. To everyone who has subscribed, rated, commented, shared my content on your social media platforms, I just want to thank you so much for that love and support. I really do appreciate it. I wanted to switch it up a little bit today and talk about a love of mine. I absolutely love music. Music is like my life. I love music, and I don't claim to be a stan of any one particular artist. However, one artist that I do love a whole lot is Miss Janet Jackson, and because she's recently come out with a new album, doing a new tour, everything like that. There is this conversation that comes about as far as who Janet should pass the torch to, or who's the closest artist to Janet. And three huge names come to mind, at least as far as I'm concerned. And then I'll mention two honorable mentions near the end. The first name that typically comes to mind is Ciara. I love Ciara. I really enjoy Ciara, especially her first two albums. That's really what her prime was, and really I think that's where we got the essence of Ciara. The main difference though between Janet and Ciara is that Ciara is an urban artist. She is an R&B crunk, urban type of, hip-hop lane. She's an urban artist, and I think the main reason why a lot of people compare Ciara to Janet is because they are both known for their dancing. But when I think about this type of subject, I like to think about their artistry as a whole. And because Janet is a pop girl, yes, Janet is black, and yes, Janet has very heavy urban influences in her music. Janet is at her core a pop artist, and Ciara is not that. And one of the things that really frustrates me about Ciara is that she really hasn't thrown herself into the pop lane as she could very easily do. I think that the pop audience would really love Ciara and embrace Ciara more than the urban community has. She really doesn't get nearly as much support as she should from the urban radio, from BET, from the urban audience in general, and I think that's pretty sad. And the thing is, I don't understand why Ciara hasn't really thrust herself into the pop genre as I think she very well should. I mean, her last top 10 hit in the Hot 100 on the Billboard chart was Love, Sex, and Magic, which was a very pop urban hit, and she hasn't gone there since. Yes, her album Jackie has a lot of pop songs on it, but her singles were urban hits, so she really hasn't made a true effort to get into that pop lane. And so that's the main reason why I really don't consider Ciara as a protege or really someone who Janet would pass her torch to. She's a great dancer. She's an amazing dancer. She's a great performer. She's a great entertainer. But as far as her artistry is concerned, I honestly wouldn't put her in that same lane as Janet. They're just two totally different artists. Just basing it off of dance, to me, really doesn't work. The next thing that comes to mind is Beyonce. I'm a very big Beyonce fan. I absolutely love her. If I had to put Beyonce and Janet, Janet's my top girl, but Beyonce is right up under her. I love Beyonce. But as far as Janet passing her torch, I don't think that Janet would give it to Beyonce, and here's why. Beyonce, although she is very heavily influenced by Janet, she's also very heavily influenced by Tina Turner, and I think I would put Beyonce more in Tina's lane. Now, they both have a very similar crossover effect. Beyonce is an urban artist, however, she very easily crosses over into the pop field as Janet does. And so in that aspect, yes, they are very similar. However, as far as their dance style is concerned, their performance style is concerned, Beyonce is a lot closer to Tina Turner than she is Janet. Janet again, she's more of a pop girl than she is urban, and Beyonce is more urban than she is pop, and that's where they really have their difference. Now, to me, Beyonce is a combination of three different artists. I give her Tina Turner, I give her Janet, and I give her a dash of Diana Ross. Just that aura, the aura of Diana. Beyonce has that. She has that aura of Diana. But as far as her styling and her style of performance, again, Beyonce is a lot closer to Tina than she is Janet. Of course, you see the Janet influences, but not as much as Tina. So in that aspect, I wouldn't necessarily say that Janet would pass it to Beyonce because of that. So if I had to choose one artist that has shown not only the homage, if I had to pick one, if I really had to pick one artist, I'd have to give it to Britney. Follow me, people. I think many times we don't consider Britney one that would, really be in Janet's lane because she's white. If we're really honest with ourselves, many people really wouldn't consider Britney as a protege of Janet, or as someone who really fashions their artistry and their career after Janet, and they don't do it because Britney is thought of as a pop white singer. But if you really think about it, if you really look over Britney's career, especially while she was in her prime, between her Hit Me Baby One More Time and her Britney phase, that was like her first 3 or 4 albums, and even into the Blackout, Britney's sole inspiration has been Janet Jackson. If you look at a lot of her interviews in the past, she's always named Janet as her favorite artist, the artist that inspires her the most, the artist that she's looked up to the most when she was younger, and the artist that she's really fashioned her career after quite a bit. I know many times the MTV era likes to put her with Madonna. And I guess it's kind of easy to do that for the general public, but anyone who really likes to look at the artistry of particular artists, it's Janet. I'm sorry, it's Janet. When it comes to her dance style, when it comes to her musicality, it's Janet. Madonna is a pop artist. Yes, she's had urban influences with her Hard Candy album, and her recent albums as well, but Madonna is a pop girl. To her core, Madonna is a pop girl. Britney is a pop girl, but she has very heavy urban influences in her music. One main example that I like to tell people is look back at her 2000 VMA performance when she performed Oops, I Did It Again. Yes, the original Oops, I Did It Again is a very pop song, but if you listen to the mix that she used for her performance, it's very drum and bass oriented. She took away the treble, and she got into that bass, and with her dancing, and the sound of the mix that she used for that performance was extremely urban. She takes a lot of her music and she remixes them, and she makes it sound a lot more urban as compared to her original pop track. Another great example of that is her Overprotected remix that Rodney Jerkins did. She even made a totally different video for the remix, which is extremely urban. And if you look at that video of the remix, it's got Janet written all over it. If you look at Stronger has, the video for Stronger rather, has Janet written all over it. And I love that about her. I love that. Because I'm such a big Janet fan, I see that Britney truly understands the formula that Janet brought to the table. And Britney took that and she definitely made it her own, but It's all Janet. It's pretty much all Janet, in my opinion. What other white pop artist or pop girl have we seen in the last 15 years that has so easily gotten herself into the urban market? When we think of songs like Slave for You, which was actually originally written for Janet Jackson, it's so urban. When we look at a song like Toxic, I had never heard an HBCU band play a white pop artist song until I heard two HBCUs at a Battle of the Bands that I went to a couple years ago perform Toxic. No other pop white artist has done that. And we can thank Janet for that. And so, in my opinion, if Janet were to give her torch to any artist, it's Britney. Just in my humble opinion. Now, two honorable mentions I'll give. The number one would be Jennifer Lopez. Yes, we know that Jennifer was in Janet's That's the Way Love Goes video. And so we can say that Janet kind of saw it early. So when we're thinking about artistry, Jennifer Lopez got pretty close to it. Now, the only reason why I didn't consider her in the top three as I did Ciara, Beyonce, and Britney is because she's got a lot of Latin influence in her music as well. So she's got a mixture of the pop, urban, and the Latin. And so that's really why I didn't mention her much in this conversation. And the second honorable mention I have to give is Aaliyah. Many of you may not know, but around the time that Aaliyah passed away, Janet did this interview. It wasn't an interview. She did this MTV special. I think she was promoting her Demita Joe album or All For You album. I'm not sure, but she actually mentioned Aaliyah in a little countdown she was doing, and she said that she was looking forward to working with Aaliyah, and there's actually no other girl in that kind of pop urban field at the time that Janet even mentioned wanting to work with, and so that's why I've got to give that to Aaliyah. Now, if we're thinking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, then of course Aaliyah would be at probably near the top of the list, maybe a close second to Britney, but because of Aaliyah's untimely death, we really can't put her in that group of girls. So my answer might have been a surprise to you, but hey, that's okay. We've all got an opinion, and it doesn't mean that my opinion is the right opinion. It's just what I think. So thanks so much for watching this video. My email is mojojojo.3020@gmail.com. My Twitter is jleo7, and my Instagram is jojo_3020. Again, thanks so much for watching this video. Have an awesome day.